Hello everyone, myself Ravindra Hegde. Welcome to Business Research Methods class and let us continue the data collection in business research today. Dear students, in the last class we have seen the framing of questionnaire. Today let us understand collection of data through schedules. A schedule is a list of items to be recorded by the enumerator about some information. Here enumerators collect and record list of items for the survey from the respondents. They write down the information collected from the informants in a face-to-face situation. An enumerator should be efficient, skilled and trained to do this a job. And the merits are good method when the informant is illiterate, reliable and accurate, and you can expect good response. And on the other side, the demerits are expensive method. If the enumerators are not skilled or smart or tactful, the results may not be reliable. Now let us discuss about collection of secondary data. The data which have been already collected by others for the other purposes is known as secondary data. Primary data after some statistical treatment becomes secondary data. Official publications of central government, state government, reports of committees and commissions appointed by the government, official publications of foreign government, unpublished records, reports and publications of commercial and trade associations, chamber of commerce, banks, cooperative societies, trade unions, private companies, stock exchanges and so on. Technical trade journals like Commerce, Economics, Capital, etc., books and newspapers, reports submitted by research workers, universities and other educational institutes are all the examples of secondary data. Now let us see the advantages. Obtaining secondary data is almost always faster and less expensive than acquiring primary data. They are essential in instances when data cannot be obtained using primary data collection procedures. Disadvantages: outdated information you may get, variation in definition of terms, different units of measurement, lack of information to verify the data's accuracy. Now let us talk about sampling and sampling design. First let us study some of the terminologies. A sample means a subset or some part of a larger population. The purpose of sampling is to estimate an unknown characteristic of a population. For example, I would like to know the average income of the Sirsi people. In such case, the one method is the collecting the information from the individual. It's a very difficult task. In that case, you can have the data of some particular group of employees or some particular group of people, and then you can make the analysis. Sampling is defined in terms of the population being studied. A population or universe is any complete group, for example, people, sales territories or stores or college students that shares some common set of characteristics. The term population element refers to an individual member of the population. Researchers could study every element of a population to draw some conclusion. A census is an investigation of all the individual elements that make up the population, a total enumeration rather than a sample. Then what is sampling? ಈ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಕುಕ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಕುಕ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಆದಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲರದನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಯಾವುದು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಬ್ಬರೇ ತಿಂದುಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So it is a tool which helps to know the characteristics of the universe or population by examining only a small part of it. At a wine tasting, guests sample the wine by having a small taste from each of a number of different wines. From this, the taster decides if he or she likes a particular wine and if it is judged to be of low or high quality. If an entire bottle were consumed to decide, the taster may end up not care about the next bottle. ಮತ್ತು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಲ ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು ಸ್ಯಾಂಪ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಈಗ ಫೋರ್ಡ್ ಮೋಟಾರ್ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಯವರಿಗೆ ಪಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸಿಂದು ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ನನಗೆ. ಅವರು ಏನಾದರೂ ಮೋಟ್ರ್ ಕಾರಿಂದು ಡಿಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಫೋರ್ಡ್ ಮೋಟಾರ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ ವಿಶ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಎ ಸೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ past purchasers' reactions to the company's recalls of defective models, the researchers would have to contact millions of automobile buyers, right? Some of them would be inaccessible, for example, out of country, and it would be impossible to contact all these people within a short term period. A researcher who wants to investigate a population with an extremely small number of population elements may elect to conduct a census rather than a sample because the cost, labor and time drawbacks would be relatively insignificant. For a company that wants to assess salesperson's satisfaction with its computer networking system, circulating a questionnaire to all 25 its employees is practical. In most situations, however, many practical reasons favor sampling. Sampling cuts cost, reduces labor requirements, and gathers vital information quickly. These advantages may be sufficient in themselves for using a sample rather than census. So the merits: less time, reduces cost of the survey, greater scope, greater accuracy or more reliable results, administrative convenience. Now let us see the stages in the selection of a sample. Students, in practice, the sample will be drawn from a list of population elements that often differs somewhat from the defined target population. A list of elements from which the sample may be drawn is called as a sampling frame. The sampling frame is also called the working population because these units will eventually provide units involved in analysis. So first one, define the target population, then select the sampling frame. Determine if a probability or non-probability sampling method will be chosen. Plan the procedure for selecting sampling units. Find the sample size. Select the actual sampling units and then conduct the field work. So these are the steps. A single element or a group of elements subject to selection in the sample is called a sampling unit. A term used to designate a unit selected in the first stage of sampling is called as primary sampling unit, and the term which is used to designate a unit selected in the second stage of sampling is called as secondary sampling unit. A term used to designate a unit selected in the third stage of sampling is called as tertiary sampling unit. Now let us see the characteristics of a good sampling design. It must result in a truly representative sample. Sample design must be such which results in small sampling error. Sampling design must be viable in the context of funds available for the research study. Sample design must be such so that systematic bias can be controlled in a better way. Sample should be such that the results of the sample study can be applied in general for the universe with a reasonable level of confidence. Now let us see the two types of errors, random sampling and Non-sampling errors. Random sampling error arises from a chance variations of the sample from the population. Systematic errors result from non-sampling factors, primarily the nature of studies, design and the correctness of the execution. Suppose a survey of approximately 1000 people has been taken in a study to determine a feasibility of a new say soccer franchise. Assume that 30% of the respondents favor the idea of a new professional sports in town. The researcher will know based on the law of probability that 95% of the time a survey of slightly fewer than 900 people will produce results with an error of approximately plus or minus 3%. If the survey are conducted with only 325 people, the margin of error would increase to approximately plus or minus 5% points. So this is an example of random sampling errors. Now let us see the types of sampling designs. First one, probability sampling and non-probability sampling. So in probability sampling, every element in the population has a known non-zero probability of selection, and the simple random sample in which each member of the population has an equal probability of being selected, it is the best known probability sample. In non-probability sampling, the probability of any particular member of the population being chosen is unknown. Probability sampling again have few other types: simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, cluster sampling and multi-stage sampling. Non-probability sampling again have like convenience sampling, judgment sampling, quota sampling and snowball sampling. So simple random sampling, it is a sampling procedure that assures each element in the population of an equal chance of being included in the sample. Example, drawing names from a hat and selecting the winning raffle ticket from a large drum. Every candidate has an equal chance here. Merits, no personal bias, simple and reliable. Demerits, involves complete listing of all the items of the population, which can be cumbersome. Large sample size is required in order to ensure the reliability. More time and cost for large geographical area. A sampling procedure in which a starting point is selected by a random process and then every nth number on the list is selected in systematic sampling. For example, I want to choose 5 candidates in 100 students. Let me choose a number, say 5. Then I say 5, then 10, 15, 20, 25, like that. Okay, or you can choose like 5, 15, 25, 35, then number which ends with the digit 5. Merit, simple, involves less time and money. Demerits, requires list of population units, which is difficult to get. Stratified sampling, here the population is divided into different groups called strata. The process of dividing a population into groups is called stratification. The strata should be similar nature, homogeneous. Merits, ensures good accuracy, simple sample size is small, less cost. Demerits, selection of items from each stratum is difficult to achieve as it involves skilled supervisors. Cluster sampling, it's an economically efficient sampling technique in which the primary sampling unit is not the individual element in the population but a large cluster of elements. Clusters are selected randomly. Cluster samples frequently are used when list of the sample population are not available. So in case of multi-stage area sampling, sampling that involves using a combination of 2 or more probability sampling techniques. Now let us talk about non-probability sampling, convenience sampling, the sampling procedure of obtaining those people or units that are most conveniently available. Judgment sampling, It's a non-probability sampling technique in which an experienced individual selects the sample based on personal judgment about some appropriate characteristics of the sample member. Judgment sampling often is used in attempts to forecast election results. Next is the quota sampling. Suppose a firm wishes to investigate consumers who currently subscribe to HDTV. The researchers may wish to ensure that each brand of HDTV television is included proportionately in the sample. Strict probability sampling procedures would likely underrepresent certain brands and overrepresent other brands. If the selection process were left strictly to chance, some variation would be expected. The major advantage of quota sampling over probability sampling are speed, low cost and convenience. Next is the snowball sampling. It's a sampling procedure in which initial respondents are selected by probability methods and additional respondents are obtained from information provided by the initial respondents. This technique is used to locate members of rare populations by referrals. Suppose a manufacturer of sports equipment is considering marketing some serious players. This market is certainly small. An extremely large small would be necessary to find 100 serious say cricket players. It would be much more economical to survey say 300 people, find 15 cricket players and ask them for the names of other players. So this a few example you can see in the internet. Merits reduced sample size and cost. I have given the chart here where you can see all the description, cost, advantages and disadvantages. Please go through this, write down, and this is about sampling designs. Thank you so much. Have a nice time.